Going live, going live. We're live.
All right.
Morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We'll call the meeting to order here. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda, minutes, and liquor license renewals? Any liquor license
We
renewals?
do not have any.
I'll make a
Okay.
Go ahead, Carl.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes.
Morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any visitor recognition? Nobody wrote in. Nobody online, Corey? Any questions? Nope. Okay. Go for it, Corey.
Okay. No utility permits to report this week. My first action item is a driveway variance east of 24505 Nagel Avenue. Pulling it up, and so here's a parcel that recently purchased by the applicant, David and Mark Hughes. They are requesting a driveway. It is about measure for you. So here's the existing driveway. It was about 200, just over 200 feet west of the existing driveway. Their application was denied because of the separation minimum requirement. There are some high banks on that roadway. I'll pull it up so I can get a street view. I was gonna suggest go out and look in it, but probably not a good idea to ride in the same car together, 4 or 5 people. So here's the location. It did have the required sight distance. I was a little surprised it had the sight distance to the east, but it did have 600 feet sight distance. Good sight distance to the west, but I think their location was right around here.
Sure.
So they'll have to work with our driveway foreman, make sure that they have ditches on it, and we get an appropriate size culvert.
There is a big culvert there already, isn't there, Corey?
I'm not sure.
Is it down a little ways? And then it goes under the road and down the other ditch. Yeah. Go down a little bit further. Because when they clean that, they were going to clean that bank off.
Looks like there's a crossroad here.
There's one there, yeah. Keep on going down the road. There was a person, whoever bought that, they just put a bunch of dirt in the ditch.
We did some ditch cleaning here.
Keep on going down, just a little bit.
Keep driving.
And they just put 2 truckloads of dirt right go across the road.
Over here?
Nope.
Oh.
Left side. There you go. So then they could go up in that timber.
Really?
Uh-huh. Go down
Check
just a
that
little
out.
bit further. There's right there. And I don't know, there's a gate there. So I don't know whether they're planning on a little weekend summer home or whatever, but that ditch is full.
I can't think of anything if that wouldn't happen in Millstown.
Not down there in that
No.
neck. But
No,
that
not
ditch is
down there in the
full.
turkey country.
And I don't know if they were roasting s'mores or what, but there was a fire. And Steve says, what in the heck is going on? But 2 dump loads of dirt. So there's they were making and then they put little posts on each side of the driveway. But I have no idea how you're gonna find out who.
Well, it'd be the landowner's responsibility for their land.
Is that Mark?
Mark Hughes bought that piece. I'm not sure who bought the piece to the north. Larry has it right now, but I'm not sure if there's a buyer on it or not.
No?
Okay.
Check it out.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
back to the action item, it was denied for site distance, or denied for separation, excuse me, it had appropriate site distance. I'll read off their reason for hardship request. We have the required site distance for safety purposes. We are trying to create some acreage building sites in our county. They are very much needed after the 2019 flood. Thanks for your consideration. Signed, Dave Hughes.
Site distance is good.
I make a motion to approve the driveway variance east of 24505 Nagel Avenue.
Second?
We've got a motion to approve the driveway variance at 24505 Nagel, just west of there, correct, Corey?
Yes, west.
Okay, is there any other discussion?
Oh,
It
yeah,
says east.
I said east. I'm sorry. It is definitely west.
Okay. All right, sorry.
That was my fault on the agenda.
Yeah, because I know we didn't.
We'll take it out of your pay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. You will contact David Mark, Corey.
I'm in touch with our driveway foreman. Process moving.
With that bank being that high, will they have to grade that down a little bit to keep the runoff from coming into the?
Yeah, so they'll have to be required to slope for, I think, the first 20 feet or I can't remember if it's the first 20 feet or to the right-of-way edge. They're going to be required to slope down before they go back up. So it'll be considerable earthwork, but it is allowed.
That will make it look so much better.
Next item is Resolution 2021. This is to award the contract and authorize the county engineer to execute the contract for STBG swap CO65 parent 111 FG-65, the L55 HMA overlay from Highway 34 to H20. This is going in place of requiring a board member to sign. You're granting me the power to sign on Doc Express. We don't have to set up a digital ID for
We're gonna do that
each board.
project specific, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
And this is the highway that runs into the south side of Silver City.
Correct.
We're gonna
And
stop it
go
at Gaston.
from Highway 34 up to Gaston Avenue.
Sweet.
The low bid was Western Engineering for the amount of $1,365,981.78.
How close were your other bids, do you recall?
Pretty close. It was within $50,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
It was
that was really
it was a
amazing.
close one.
A
I didn't
million
bring-
and a half,
I didn't
wow.
bring all the bid tabs with me.
No, that's good.
It was close.
Have we already signed off on when you opened the bid, is that one of them we did?
It was a state letting.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay.
So they opened the bids and then
Oh, gotcha.
we award and we're going to do the award and the resolution to allow me to sign all at once
Good
instead
deal.
of 2 weeks.
I'd make a motion to approve resolution 2021, award contract to engineering process on Highway 34 north to H20.
And I second it.
We've got a motion and a second to approve resolution 2021 to award the contract and authorize the engineer to execute the contract for the overlay project on H20. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we will do a roll call vote.
Mayberry,
Yes.
Crouch,
Yes.
Vinton.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
Make
Well,
sure
maybe you guys get
email
busy on
me
that.
Yeah.
Resolution, so I can get it in the minutes, and don't do it in a PDF either.
I emailed it last week, or when I requested the resolution number, or do you want me to still email you another copy? I'll make sure I get it.
Okay,
I do have 2 copies for you to have, one
Okay.
of the signed
Okay.
copies.
Did you get the email from the leaders that I forwarded? I would have just sent it here a little bit ago.
yes, the Lewis and Clark, yes, I did, thank you.
Fingers aren't working today, Richard.
2 copies. My last action item is to set public hearing date for amendment to floodplain regulations ordinance. We just went through this, but as we followed the template provided by us by Iowa DNR, and we made our corrections, got it, did our public hearings and got it approved. I think 2 weeks before our final hearing, we sent it to Iowa DNR for a final look over to make sure it was good to go. That's when they responded and let us know that FEMA had an issue with the language in one sentence or one part of the amendment or one part of the ordinance. So we're having to change one
The
sentence.
whole thing, sure.
So it's just an amendment just to correct one sentence in the ordinance. I've been working with the county attorney's office. We do have that draft, and we have sent that correction to the DNR. They approved of it, so should be good to go. We just need to run through the gamut again. I have not gotten notice to the newspapers yet. So what, we need 2 weeks, right? Or how long does
Okay,
it have to be advertised?
It goes in the paper on a Wednesday, we have to have it there on Friday, and it has to be no less than 4, no more than 20 for public hearing notice. So, if you get it to the, if you get it to the paper
Get it.
on Friday, it would be in Wednesday, so you could do it on the 12th. You could do the public hearing,
On the 19th.
no, because, okay, if you get it there Friday, it'll be in the paper on the 6th.
Tomorrow's the 6th.
Oh, yeah, wrong week. I'm down a week. Yes, that would be right. I'm trying to keep another week in. Yes, you are correct, Corey. You
Okay,
are absolutely
so-
correct. Yes.
So we should set the hearing date for the 19th for the
Okay.
first hearing.
Okay.
So you need a motion to set the public hearing on May 19th.
What time?
9?
9 would be best. Don't want to keep him here till 10. Already, that early enough, or you want it earlier, or?
No, 9 works.
Okay,
I second it.
Got a
On May
motion by
19th.
Kraut, second by Vinton to set the public hearing date to amend the floodplain regulation ordinance on May 19th at 9 a.m. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
alright,
All right.
Do we
The-
skip something?
The United Contractor
The
payment?
United Contractor one?
Yes, sorry. My
That's
fault.
okay, that's okay. I was like, oh, wait a minute, did I miss something here?
Nope.
well, I thought maybe he didn't have it on his agenda, or I don't know.
No,
That's more we're taking out of your pay. You got a week check this week.
Yeah, so, a pay voucher 26 for United Contractors for, our 190th Street Railroad Overpass project. This is a project we're paying out of our farm to market account. Um, The total amount due is $296,665.13.
Did you say 965?
665.
Two nine
six.
six, 665.
296,665, 13 cents.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got the 13 cents.
They set beams at the very beginning of April, and we pay monthly. So a lot of this is the beams placement. Um, uh, and we are looking at doing the deck pour possibly at the end of next week. So it's very exciting.
Wow.
They pour that all in one shot in one day?
They'll pour the whole deck in a day. They want to pour more. They wanted to pour the bridge approach section and the deck and the other bridge approach in one day, and they got that idea from Nebraska Department of Roads does, or DOT now does their bridge approaches and deck concurrently. As for Iowa DOT, it's not allowed, and they petitioned, but discussing with JEO, the design firm, and who's handling the contract administration for the bridge, they didn't want to go away from the standards. Just,
Because it's too large of a pour is why they denied it?
there's a lot of issues with bridge approaches. Both states have them. I think you'll notice if you ever drive across Highway 34 to Nebraska, that those approaches are
Right,
terrible.
it dips.
Nebraska's Highway 77, just on the heading into town, those approaches are terrible. In Iowa, we have our issues too. It's just what it comes down to is bridges aren't set. That one
They
side has a rocker,
Mhm.
and so they move a little bit. And when the heavy trucks come off the bridge, it bounces a little bit, and that bouncing over time just pushes down that approach section, and it's double reinforced. I mean, we put a lot of steel in these bridge
Huh.
approaches that usually there's only steel at the joints of concrete paving, but this is double reinforced, tons of steel, and one of the contractor was telling me that Nebraska even puts piles, basically another abutment section after the bridge approach to try to keep that from
Still doesn't
dipping. And so I think there's still some work going on both sides, both states and multiple states see this problem. But we're gonna go with what Iowa's set a standard for.
Provides, sure.
Good.
Interesting, Corey.
Okay. Should we pay them, guys?
Yeah, I make a motion to pay 296,665.13.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve pay voucher 26 to United Contractors for $296,665.13. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright, motion carries. One,
This one.
easy enough. We can have for general discussion, Corey. We don't have anything here, but we can visit if you want. We have plenty of time.
Reminder, no signs should be placed in the right of way. It's
Are you talking
it's
garage sale signs or?
any signs, political signs,
Oh, there's a few of those out there.
land sell signs, real estate signs, daycare signs, obstructions in the right of way are not allowed.
Sure.
Just a reminder.
We're just lucky we're not mowing yet.
How many signs
They
you
mow
got in
right
your
over 'em.
shop that you had to pull?
I don't believe we have too many. We don't pull a lot of them. I personally have moved a couple just back 10, 15 feet. It's just one of those things. I'll probably keep harping till June.
I
Or
keep
say it.
setting them out and I'll set them clear off the right of way, but sometimes I'll move them back when they mow them and they get them a little close to the road, but I try to keep mine all
The
30
wind
to 60
really
feet off the road.
kicked a lot of them out.
Oh,
I've never had wind break signs like they do this year.
I have
That's
lost
another-
so
Snap
many.
that.
Yeah,
Snap that wire just right where it's welded.
yeah,
It's another windy day today too.
yeah.
Update on our progress with the EDA grant application. I reviewed the draft of the application provided by that MAPPA completed that we've been working closely with. Got that reviewed, Don and Ryan, his guy Ryan. Hoping to send that out Tuesday next week. I'm gonna put a agenda item just for a show of your guys' support for the project. It's not gonna be an action item, but just to have something on the minutes as far as showing your guys' support for the project. It's 2.6 million and change federal EDA grant application to combine with the $2.5 million RISE grant application that we were approved a couple weeks ago for the improvements on Bungie, a new roadway between Bungie and Applewood, just west of the interstate. There, being a federal grant, there are a few more portions of the application, so we're hoping to have that all finalized. We have received a letter of support from Joni Ernst, from Cindy Axney. I haven't heard back from Senator Grassley, but we're still going to try and get a letter of support from them as well.
Good. You gonna go on the east side of this section line or
So
the west
excited
side?
to get that
On the
started.
line.
You're gonna, on the line, you're gonna center it on the line, okay, I
It'll
knew you were
be
back and forth.
offset 20 feet to the west of the line. And so it's going to be 80-foot right away, 20 feet on the east side of the line and 60 on the
other.
west. We had to do that because there is a gas line
Right,
30 feet or 40 feet to the west or to the east of that property line. So to avoid dealing with easements with the gas line, we just
Stay
avoided.
away.
Wise idea.
And so
You don't mess with those big boys, do we?
they,
We've tried.
it'd probably cost more to
Mhm.
armor that or upgrade that pipe in the whole project.
How's our conveyor belt company?
Working closely with them, so us moving the road 20 feet to the west shifted them 20 feet to the west as well. They've turned in a couple of permits already for work not associated with the conveyor belt, but gearing up for their borrow pits and dewatering plan. They keep telling me to expect a stack of permits coming in soon to mainly to building and zoning, but also for work inside the right of way for the two crossings of Bungie and Applewood. They do have they do plan to haul material through August, and that's been approved through building and zoning in my office, their whole route. So I think their plan still is to have the conveyor belt up and operational by the end of August. So, and that'll run 3 years,
3 years.
breaking during the winter when they can't do anything. One thing that that I think has been a headache for them that it's just how it is. The road is going to go up the section line, but
Right.
then we're going to S-curve out to have a 4-way intersection with this roadway.
Mhm.
Safety wise, it's much safer to have 4-way intersection than something that's offset
Yeah.
40 feet, and it's just turning makes turning movements a lot more safe, and even though it's a private road, we'd still rather even driveways, we prefer to have driveways straight across from each other. But that S curve the conveyor belt, they don't wanna turn at all. They want a straight shot as much
Sure.
as possible.
Makes sense.
So they wanna go straight, go on the
Right
east
across.
side of this road. Well, that's gonna really, I mean, when we S-curve out, they'll have to go over top that S-curve. We don't have a final design. I said, guys, I think you guys should just go to the outside and then go diagonally over this intersection. Then you don't have to worry about being interference. But Tyler's working up an agreement as far as release of liability for the overhead structures on the roadways, crossings. And in that, Ames has verbally told me, they agree to this, but we'll get it in writing in the contract, that will allow them to go straight across, but they will have to, once we are done with the final design, they will have to reconfigure or avoid our roadway to not impede our construction. And so it
So
was,
they will go up over?
so they'll have
Wow.
3 crossings then.
Oh, my gosh.
It was actually their idea, because they said, we don't wanna have to turn this conveyor belt. What if during the winter, you guys should have a final design, and we won't be operational, that's when we could go out and make these changes. That as long as,
That'd be almost like
as
a
long
roller
as you
coaster
guys,
ride
as
for
long
them.
as you're
It's like
working with us,
around
we're
this
good with
way.
it.
Wow.
And security and stuff is all on them, right?
Yep.
I mean, as far as fencing it, do they have to fence it?
I believe that they're planning to, that was something, I think Darren's been talking to him about. But yeah,
So it
I
sounds
believe they
like
still
so
have
far
fence.
they've been good with everything. I mean, everything's
They've
rocking and
They've
rolling.
been good to work with, they've been
Wow.
responsive, and
That's amazing.
Big outfit.
Big outfit.
I encouraged him to bid on the project when we let it for the road. It'd be a lot easier to coordinate between one contractor instead of 2.
So true.
My only other item I had for general discussion was update about 190th Street, which I kind of already gave you guys. Deck pour possibly end of next weekend.
When can we drive on it?
Well, they were planning in June to have pavers come in. Recently heard they do not. The contractor doesn't have their base material. We have a rock layer underneath the pavement on the road. They do not have that lined up anymore just because of how hard it is to find rock and aggregate materials around. The lone quarry in the county still isn't producing. Last I checked, at the end of last week, and they're thinking not until the end of this month would they have some material being
And the problem is
Produced.
I talked to Jameson and he says, well, we hired an outfit out of Missouri to clear the strip it. And they've got quarry in Missouri, Mills County, and what's the one north counts plus? Crescent. And they only have 2 crews, and one's in Missouri and one's in Crescent. And they're trying to break their contract so they can go in with either their own crew or have another crew come in and clear Malvern. I says, Nick, we're getting down to where, and not everybody can go to Crescent and get rock. So I hope we don't hold up any projects because you're not producing. He says, we understand. I says, well, let us know where we're at so we can, so.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I mean, there is nothing in Malvern.
Oh
They
yeah.
have one big payloader and that's it. That thing is completely bare except for a small pile of limestone. Unbelievable. Never seen it that way in all the years of crushing rock down there.
So we might get slowed down, yeah,
What are we
not being
gonna
able to
do?
find material. And because of the flood, and declared disaster, the contractor is entitled to a material price increase because we suspended the project due to the flooding, so if we need to get material from Martin Marietta in Springfield or somewhere
Crescent
else, we
Weeping water?
might have to, and that's another increase to this project. And,
Truckers will make some money.
this has been a project that's over budget as now because of the repair work and borrow site, and hope to get 75% of that paid for from FEMA funds. I'm still working with Iowa Homeland Security for that, but some of these other material increases, that's just something we're gonna have to eat. It is our farm to market account, so it's
So,
not coming out of our
Richard,
local budget.
Did they run dry? I mean, is there just not,
There's nothing there.
there's no
Everything
more
is gone.
gravel vein? Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's gonna take them
What's Fremont
Take
County
them 3
gonna do?
weeks. Well, they're going,
Because that's.
they're
Missouri.
going over to, Red Oak
Or are
to,
they crushed aggregate?
crush that and get it for rock right now. You see them on 34 now.
Again, Chris Decker.
They came into my office this winter and they had some material. If we have something on the east side of the county, we go there. If we have something on the north side, we go to
Donnie.
Donnie. And if we have something on the west side, we go to Springfield. And we're trying not to go too much because we are at budget with a month to go, 2 months to go. So,
Holy
It's-
cow.
but we knew that come
It was,
because of we're still doing flood repairs and we're still we
freaking
lost
lot.
material and we had damages, and so we're keeping an eye on it and we're working down our stockpile.
Well, maybe we better do sand, like they do up north. Just put sand on the roads.
We'll make it through, and
Oh my gosh.
Pea gravel out of Nebraska.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Oh,
Driving on marbles, but it's hard.
It just likes to chew up the tires.
I do have we've had 2 applicants for our engineering tech position. Got the two interviews lined up for this week.
Good.
Hoping to make a selection as soon as possible and put approval in front of you guys as soon as possible. So, don't really know. I know one of the 2 applicants, and we'll just see how they go. Update there. Guess that's all I have today.
Thanks, sir.
No problem. See you next week.
All right,
Thanks,
sounds
Corey.
good, Corey.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
We're gonna take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back here in a few minutes. Thank you. All right, thank you for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Our next item on the agenda is to authorize the sheriff to accept the bid for a compressor repair. You got a compressor that needs fixed?
Yep, needs replaced, fixed, or replaced, actually.
Replaced, okay.
It's for the conference room, so we can have some air conditioning and heat
In your new jail?
in my new jail. Total price, $2,765, and I haggled with them.
Zero, zero.
Down from 3,100, yeah, 0, 0.
How old is that now, just to put it on the record?
We'll be what,
5 years.
5 years, yeah. No, we'll be coming up 6, 14, we moved in November of 14, yeah,
And what company is this?
train.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the bid to fix the compressor.
I second it.
we've got a motion by Crouch, seconded by Vinton to approve the sheriff to accept the bid for the compressor replacement. Is there any other discussion?
Is there a warranty with this thing too?
Not anymore. But that ship sailed 3 years ago, 3 or 4.
So the one that they replace, they won't put another warranty on it?
It'll probably have a
Oh, yeah,
1 year.
it'll have something, the
Yeah.
new one will be.
Okay.
I thought you were asking that
No.
this would be replaced in the one.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Get some heating and air down there for you guys.
Yeah. We went without heat, so. But we don't need the air, it gets too humid in there if we don't.
Sure. Not good on paper.
No.
Sorry,
Motion by Crouch, seconded by Vinton. 3-0. Next item on the agenda is to authorize the sheriff to hire a deputy.
Yeah, requesting to hire Jordan Hilanich, it's either Hofer or Hoffer, for the deputy position.
You spell the last
What
name,
was his
please?
Hofer, and the first name's Jordan, Jordan.
E-N, wait a minute, Jordan? No,
Jordan, yep, that's the first name,
okay.
her first name.
Oh, did you say an E?
Huh?
Did you say Jordane?
Jordan.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting old, you know.
Yeah, I seen one of your kids this morning. God, you can hire them any younger looking.
In the 20s.
What, 21?
Well, I think my youngest one would be 21, I believe. Just.
Okay.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Gene, but put some meat on this guy, because he can't hold his, he's walking away from it, and his belt goes down like this as he walks, he reaches over and pulls it up. I mean, he can't cinch it up anymore, I don't think.
Okay, Jordan is starting when?
May 19th.
Okay. At what salary?
51,411. 0, 0.
Yeah, I got that, thank you. Great, thank you. Okay, obviously it's past all.
Yes.
Previous experience?
Yeah, she's
Had to send
certified.
it- Oh, perfect.
Coming from
perfect.
Fremont County.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, let's see, Fremont Mills Pond.
She won't
Yeah.
go on.
I'll make a motion to allow the sheriff to hire a new deputy, Jordan Hoffer.
I second it.
We've got a motion and a second to authorize the sheriff to hire Deputy Jordan Hofer. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright. Hire him up, Sheriff.
Okay.
you got a letter?
Yep.
For the editor? Yes, Jolene, yes, sir. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
Got it.
Okay, I'll see you all later, thanks, have a good day.
you too. The other ones will be here at 9:30, so.
No, that's fine. We still got a couple things. The next item on the agenda would be to approve the CDBG GAX Number 50 for the Nishnabotna. Both Nishnabotnas, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion to approve the CDBG number 50.
Well, we ought to be getting to the tail end of this pretty soon.
Oh, I would think so.
Did you second that, Richard?
Yes. I just did.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sitting there looking at these figures and I'm going,
I know.
ah, yeah.
JEO 57,000, Golden Hills 7,000.
We've got a motion and a second to approve JEO for 57,188 and Golden Hills for 7741 for the East and West Nishna River projects. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. What date goes on this, Carol? Is today
Today.
okay?
Richard, do you know if they've gotten started on any of the
You
projects
can't
yet?
start, they're not gonna start till September 1.
And why?
I don't know how they're gonna get the work done.
How
They
they
have
gonna
2
do it?
years. They
They'll
have
have to have
21
an
and
extension.
22 to get it done.
Well,
But we've got all the money spent, spoke for. That's the main thing.
thank you.
We got
So
enough
we're not
projects and
losing
stuff. And we've got, we got, what really helped us out, taking on 2 projects from Mills County. You know, why not use the federal money to do it?
That's right.
We're gonna take a quick break here, ladies and gentlemen. Julie Lyons and Larry Hurst will be in here to give some COVID-19 updates here at about 9:30. Thank you. All right. Now we have Julie Lyons and Larry Hurst in here to give us an update on the COVID-19 that's.
Okay, I just have a brief update for the board this morning. You probably saw this press release yesterday. We had 2 additional positive cases of COVID-19 in Mills County. The age range is both adults between the ages of 18 and 40. And the thing to note on this is that they each contracted the virus through community spread. So earlier on in the disease process, when we did our epidemiology and we did surveillance and we tracked and we tried to ascertain where you came in contact with the ill person or if you had traveled to a high risk, we could usually pinpoint where the disease process started for the individual who tested positive. That is not the case anymore. So when we go out and we track with individuals who test positive, they don't have any known exposure. There's nothing they can pinpoint it. And it's been kind of interesting these last couple of cases that we've had because the individuals had very good infection control going on. They were really social distancing. They were pretty well isolating at home and not having a lot of contact. And yet they still came up with the illness and a positive test result, which is just kind of, I think, a fair warning for us to be really cautious. I know this disease process has been going on for a long time. I think it was March 8th when the governor first announced that it had arrived in Iowa. And then I think for the longest time we saw it more on the eastern side of our state. And you know, it's beautiful weather out, and I think people are growing weary of all the restraints. But I think now is really a time to keep our guard up and to be really cautious and use all those good principles we just keep repetitively talking about. But we are seeing more activity in Mills County. I also think if you watch the governor's press releases, that testing is becoming more of a thing, and so we do expect more positive results, and so I think that in the next week or two we'll start to see some forward motion and get on the other side of this. It's been a long process, and I know that. We have been sharing with a lot of people in the community just simple strategies to put into place if you notice that you have symptoms similar to COVID-19, 10 strategies to isolate at home and use those good practices, and we've just been sharing those in the community. Some of the cases that have tested positive, they're families. So 1 or 2 members of the family will test positive because they qualified for testing, and then we'll have other members of the family who are symptomatic but will not be tested because they won't meet criteria, but they're presumptive positives. And so those are the strategies that we're following up and having routine contact to try to isolate the disease and contain it. Any questions on that?
Julie, I have one question. Where it says 3 cases have recovered from that, I thought the 3rd one was just a recently determined that we had it. There was 3 and then the 2. But I mean, like, wouldn't have time to recover.
Sometimes there is such a delay in what you see online. For instance, today, if you go on the site, you'll see that we have 3 cases. That's a delay. We actually have 5. So from the time we first get them until they get on the site, our positive cases are taking
Almost 2 weeks.
days to show up. And I think the Iowa Department of Public Health is going full tilt and keeping that website as up to date as they can, but there is a little lag.
Yeah. So they were already into the recovery
Gotcha.
process quite a ways as these 2 here. But I think the 1st of April was our first case around the middle of the month. The 2nd, the 3rd was late last week, and then we popped 2 yesterday. So that's kind of the timeline from us from the governor's declaration, the first indication we had an issue. So as Julie said, we went couple weeks there before we first had one detected actually as a tested positive. So I think the biggest thing is testing. I know Potawatomi County is making a pitch with the state to bring a testing here west because of the metropolitan area. They're doing it in sub area, which we're part of the sub area. Because they're making a comparison with like Polk County. They're estimating nearly $1 million and 1 million people in this metropolitan area, which is a big impact. So I think the state is looking at that on whether they're going to bring a testing regimen out here, which means they would open up some of what they did in Des Moines here a week or so ago. I think
Is
the
that
big,
for anyone to go through, or is it only if you have symptoms, or is it?
you'd have to go through the process they did in Des Moines, online process, and then that would be triaged out. I'm guessing that's the way it works.
Like we did, so
Yes,
if I have no.
To that.
Right.
Okay.
And I think as of yesterday, 103 people in Mills County have been tested. So you can see that
Okay.
we're not having a abundance of testing at this point, and I think that that somewhat will dictate the number of positive confirmed cases that we have.
Right.
So a lot of it is just keeping in mind that it's community spread and having all those good practices in place, and then if you are ill, to stay home.
Sure.
I have one other note for you, and it's not COVID-19, but I wanted to share with you that starting tomorrow is National Nurses Week, and that
Starting on a
goes,
Wednesday?
it always goes from May 6th to May 12th.
Oh, regardless
It
of the
always
day.
ends on May 12th because that's Florence Nightingale's birthday.
Okay.
And she was kind of the founder of the nursing profession as we know it. And I just think it's really timely, and I would like to acknowledge and celebrate all the nurses in Mills County in
Absolutely.
whatever venue that they're working, because especially at this time during this pandemic, I really have seen that our nurses are frontline,
They're on
first
their feet.
responders, and
Right.
working hard. And so we have visited with Joe at the OT, and I think they're going to run a promotion on Nurses Week next week, or tomorrow. So just wanted to celebrate our nurses and all the hard work that they do, and express
Absolutely.
our appreciation from a public health perspective. Their work is invaluable to us.
Good deal.
That's all I have.
I have no questions. Do you guys have any questions for these guys?
No, just thank you for the updates every week,
Yes,
You
absolutely.
bet. You
Thanks for
bet.
always coming in.
You
It's
bet.
nice to, hopefully you'll come in and some week and say none.
This is just settle down. We're ready.
Okay.
You bet.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in, guys.
Okay, perfect. Harold, do you want to
We'll call the
and once we
meeting,
move
we'll
the
adjourn the
meeting,
meeting.
come back
Thank
down?
you all for listening, and we'll see you
Sound
next
good?
week.